I am Duy,
And I'm Minnie.
and we are here to read once again from a Smithsonian book of comic book comics. And today we are reading out loud from Captain Marvel Adventures number 100. Captain Marvel battles the plot against the universe. What do you think of that whole first page? Just looking at it without reading it.
What do I think of it? I think there's a lot of text
Compared to our previous readings, especially.
in the first page.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
Well, over there is them advertising their other titles, and over there is the copyright. So let's get to the text. Here we go. Captain Marvel battles the plot against the universe. Wholesome, approved reading, wholesome entertainment. Isn't that amazing?
Like, who decides that? Like, is that an official, I don't know, stamp thing that there's some organization that, like the Newbery Awards?
Yeah, that didn't come into place until like 1955. So
this is just them.
This is 1949. This is just them. And you can see from their list of titles how diverse they can be. Captain Marvel Adventures, Wiz Comics, Captain Marvel Jr., those are all superhero comics. But then you got Fawcett's Funny Animals, Western Hero, Rocky Lane Western, Nyoka the Jungle Girl, Gabby Hayes Western. Okay, fine. Maybe they're not really diverse. It's just superheroes, Westerns, and a Jungle Girl.
And funny animals.
And one book about funny animals. Okay. Whenever Billy Batson, famous boy newscaster, says the word Shazam, he is miraculously changed into powerful Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest mortal, who combines in his magnificent physique the powers of 6 of the mightiest heroes of all time. The wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. For context, Black Adam has the same thing, except with Egyptian gods.
Oh.
Solomon is also an outlier in this one.
Yeah.
Dr. Sivana, the world's maddest scientist. The universe. Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest man. Part 1. Dr. Sivana strikes at Shazam. No greater evil genius than Dr. Sivana, the world's wickedest scientist, has ever existed on this Earth of ours. His sinister ambition is to rule not only Earth, but the entire universe. The very existence of Captain Marvel himself is threatened as the wily scientist sets in motion his latest audacious plot to give him power over all the universe. Read on for 100 thrills, chills, and exciting episodes complete in this 100th anniversary issue. So unlike the previous ones we've read, like this is a 100th issue.
Okay, why?
Which is not the origin. I don't know, this is what they picked.
Oh. Okay.
This is what they picked, but there will be a flashback to his origin in this issue. I think that's a reason why they picked it. Let us peer into the secret laboratory of Dr. Sivana, the greatest enemy of civilization ever known, as he repeats a dread vow. I vow to wear that crown yet. Somehow, someday, I'll become rightful ruler of the universe. The world's maddest scientist has never given up this all-consuming ambition, but there has always been one great stumbling block. Curses! How can I win out with that big red lout Captain Marvel against me? He smashes my best plots every time. Bah! I mean, he may say he hates him, but he still made a whole monument to him.
Yeah.
To throw things at. Also hung his picture on his wall.
Yeah.
And I can't even get Billy Batson, the boy that Captain Marvel changes back into. Every time I go for Billy, he somehow changes to Captain Marvel in time. Bah! Zing. What's funny?
The way you said bah.
I thought it was him throwing a dart at the picture of this little boy that he hung up on his wall.
No, it's just the way you said
Bah! And Captain Marvel can't be defeated, not with those powers from 6 elder heroes granted to him by Shazam, the ancient Egyptian wizard. Bah! Bah! Wait, that gives me a great idea. The one way to crush Captain Marvel is through Shazam. I've got to find Shazam himself and work on him. But where is Shazam? That's one secret I never found out. I can't just go and ask Billy or Captain Marvel. But I've got to find out. Let me think. I gotta say, the cartooning on this is amazing because I find myself wanting to do like whatever pose he's in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, let us look into the modest home of Mr. Talkie Tawny, the well-known talking tiger.
I'm writing my memoirs. Let's see. Captain Marvel, my great friend, is the world's mightiest mortal. He gained his powers from Shazam, the wizard. This all happened when... Dear me, I can't finish. It just occurs to me now that I really know nothing of Captain Marvel's origin at all.
Billy Batson often drops in on his tiger friend, and...
Hello, Mr. Tawny. How are your memoirs going?
I'm stuck, Billy. Tell me, when, where, and how did Captain Marvel come into existence? This is a secret that Billy tells only to trusted friends.
It's a long story, Mr. Tawny, but come with me. I think it's time you knew all about Captain Marvel, since you've had so many adventures with him.
Billy leads the way to an old forgotten subway tunnel.
Many years ago, as a ragged newsboy, I was led to this tunnel myself. Down at the end of it, I met the Egyptian wizard. Though he is gone from Earth and lives at the Rock of Eternity, I can still summon his spirit by lighting this brazier.
You wanted to say the other word, didn't you?
I don't know.
I am here, my son. For the first time, Mr. Tawny meets Shazam. Greetings, Mr. Tawny.
I am honored, Shazam, but I don't understand. How can you exist in spirit form?
By means of this bracelet, made of an element unknown to earthly science. It's called Shazamium. Without it, I would vanish utterly. Whoever wears this can adopt ethereal form, and it also enables me to whisk back and forth from the Rock of Eternity in the wink of an eye. Now I must go. You have done well, Mr. Tawny, aiding Captain Marvel in the great fight against evil.
Thank you, great sir.
Later, back at Mr. Tawny's home, now I can finish my memoirs. Thanks, Billy.
Just one thing, Mr. Tawny. Don't write down where that forgotten tunnel is. Nobody else must ever find that out. Good night.
So, of course, in storytelling, if the moment you say nobody else must ever find that out, it means somebody is immediately going to find that out.
Yeah.
I wonder who that would be. But meanwhile, Sivana has come to the home of Mr. Tawny. I finally figured it out. Mr. Tawny is a close friend of Billy and Captain Marvel. He ought to know where Shazam is. After Billy is out of sight, I'll strike. For the first time, Sivana and Mr. Tawny meet.
Savannah, I recognize you from your pictures. You're the most evil genius on Earth.
Greetings, Mr. Tawny. I see my reputation precedes me. It's one long hair.
Yeah, you could have used more H's.
Did
Okay. You made a mistake coming here.
I? Wily Sivana is always ready with his many evil inventions. This is my spider gun. It shoots out a rope of liquid plastic.
Oops.
There, all wrapped up like a package. Now let's see if the information I want is in your memoirs. Yay!
I wasn't expecting that.
Yay. Just what I want! So Shazam can be summoned to a forgotten tunnel. He lives in the Rock of Eternity, and he wears a bracelet made of Shazamium. At last I know how to destroy Captain Marvel. But wait, where's that tunnel? You didn't write it down. I must know. Talk.
I'll never tell. Never in a million years.
Oh, yes, you will. I'll take you along to my ship now. I can roll you like a ball. But meanwhile, Billy Batson suddenly remembers something.
Of all the silly things, I left my package of laundry at Mr. Tawny's house. I'll have to go back for it. Holy moly! Savannah has kidnapped Mr. Tawny. Shazam!
He's rolling him down.
He is. I feel bad for him.
Spoken aloud by Billy, the honored name sends down a crash of magic lightning, which changes Billy to Captain Marvel. Boom!
What are you up to, you little weasel? What do you want with Mr. Tawny?
None of your business, none of your business, you big red cheese!
Oh, come, Savannah. Pulling a gun on me won't help you. You should know by now that bullets can't harm me.
Oh, yeah? This gun will cover you all over with sticky rope and give me time to escape. Heh.
Holy moly!
Captain Marvel will be free in a moment, but that's all I need to get into my ship.
I'm free. And you ought to know I can outfly any ship, Savannah.
But this is a time ship, dummy. I'm fading out of the present into the past. How can you chase me there? Before Captain Marvel's eyes, the time ship fades away into nothingness.
Holy moly! He got away with Mr. Tawny as his prisoner. Where did he go? How far into the past? And what does he want from Mr. Tawny? I don't like this one little bit. And yet, what can I do? How can I chase him through time?
He's not that fast. Cruising into the past, Savannah reveals his ghastly plot to helpless Mr. Tawny. I'm going back to the time Captain Marvel was first called forth by Shazam, but I'm going to arrive a little bit before that and ambush Billy in the tunnel.
But I'll never tell you how to find the tunnel, you fiend!
Oh, yes, you will. Under the influence of this hypno ray, you have no will to resist my question. Where is the tunnel?
I won't tell.
Under the powerful hypno ray, Mr. Tawny is forced to answer.
I obey. The tunnel is at the corner of Slum Street and 9th, behind the old warehouse.
Seems to be a very powerful weapon that he should probably use more if he wants to take over the world.
He has a lot of really powerful weapons.
The time ship lands in the past, and here's the old warehouse. Now to find the subway entrance. Here it is. We're back in time before Billy Batson first entered. I've timed all this perfectly. The 7 deadly enemies of man, eh? Will hide behind one of those statues. I want you to see this, Mr. Tawny. Soon Billy will come. I'll nab him here, before he reaches the throne of Shazam, and before Captain Marvel is created, and you won't be able to yell to warn him. Meanwhile, outside, the Billy Batson of the past is met by a mysterious dark figure.
He's beckoning me to follow? Why are you taking me into this old abandoned subway tunnel?
This is the Billy Batson of years back. A young newsboy who does not know that he has been selected by Shazam to become the future Captain Marvel. He does not yet know of the great and blazing career for which he is destined as the world's mightiest mortal. This is Billy Batson, before Captain Marvel ever existed. As it all once happened in the past, Billy is led through the cavern of the 7 deadly enemies of man. Now, lurking Savannah is ready to strike. Ha! Now to capture and kill Billy! Captain Marvel will never come into existence at all!
I'm helpless to stop him. Wait. I got my tail free. Now I have a chance to save Billy. He's out cold. Now all will go on as before. Billy will reach the throne, meet Shazam, and...
And Mr. Toddy is now thrilled to witness with his own eyes the actual events that led to the first appearance of Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest mortal. Billy Batson, I am Shazam, an ancient Egyptian wizard. I have fought evil, but my time is now up. You shall be my successor.
Me, sir?
Yes, you are pure of heart. You have been chosen. Speak my name.
Shazam!
For the first time, the amazing magic lightning thunders down. Boom! And for the first time in history, Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest man, appears. But now the block of stone that had hung by a thread above Shazam's throne crashes down upon the wise wizard. Snap, crash. So it is written that I must go.
My goodness.
Big block of stone. But a moment later, the spirit of Shazam arises, and I name you Captain Marvel. Through my name, you are given the powers of these 6 mighty heroes. Henceforth, you will fight evil on Earth.
Yes, great sir.
I'm not gonna reread that every time.
Yeah.
That's Tom.
That was simply wonderful. I saw the actual origin of Captain Marvel. There he goes now, out into the world to begin his blazing career against evil and injustice. But what's going to happen to me now? Sivana is coming too.
Yes, what will happen to Mr. Tawny? Unaware of their presence, the new Captain Marvel passes them by. Foiled in his first move, what will wicked Sivana try now? The next story in this issue will give you the amazing answer. Captain Marvel battles and plot against the universe, part 2, the invasion of the Rock of Eternity. From here I shall rule the universe. Ha!
Not if I can stop you, Savannah.
In the previous story, Sivana failed to destroy Billy Batson and Captain Marvel, but the evil genius is still armed with vital knowledge of the secrets of Shazam, the Shazamium bracelet, and the Rock of Eternity. So now the mad scientist launches another cunning plan that threatens to give him control of the Rock of Eternity itself, hub of the universe. Sivana has now regained his senses and is filled with mad rage at Mr. Tawny's interference with his evil plan. Curses! You knocked me out and let the creation of Captain Marvel occur! I'll get you for that, Mr. Tawny!
I'm sunk! Wait. By shifting my weight, I can roll away. Now, if I could just get out of these ropes.
You can't keep that up very long. I'll get you sooner or later. As he rolls desperately along, Mr. Tawny makes a pleasant discovery.
The rough stone floor has been wearing away my ropes. Ah, I'm free. Most of my clothes were worn off too, but that isn't important.
Now where is that tiger?
Here I am, Savannah.
Yipe!
Now you're my prisoner.
Oh, the shame of it. Outwitted by a tiger.
Now march to the time ship. I'll take you back to 1949 and have you arrested.
Curses!
Get in there and work the control.
When we get to 1949, I'll have to escape somehow. Wait, I know. This will be clever. When they step out in 1949.
To the police.
Now's the time to turn the tables. Tawny has no clothes on, so... Help! Wild tiger! He escaped from the zoo!
What?
Oh my gosh! Look! Not realizing it is tame Mr. Tawny, a mob turns on him. Keep that wild tiger at bay! Corner him!
Stop! Wait! Oh, they won't listen.
In the excitement, nobody noticed me at all! I'm free! Now back to my ship! Meanwhile, from a high window in Station Wiz, Billy Batson sees the scene.
Holy moly! Looks like an escaped tiger down there. Before somebody gets hurt. Shazam!
Help! Get him! Magic lightning faithfully thunders down at the name, and Captain Marvel replaces Billy. Boom! Captain Marvel recognizes his tiger friend.
Holy moly! Stop, folks! This is Mr. Tawny, the civilized tiger.
Am I glad to see you, Captain Marvel? Sivana got away!
Where did Savannah take you, Mr. Tawny? You've been gone hours. I'll take you to your home and you can tell me the whole story. We have to figure out what Savannah's next move will be.
Later, the figure of Billy Batson again enters the Forgotten Tunnel, but this is in 1949, not the past.
Past the statues to the throne. Now to light the brazier and summon the spirit of the old magician.
Yes, my son, what is it?
Great sir, tell me about the Shazamium bracelet you wear.
Shazamium is a wonder element which allows its wearer to adopt ethereal form, like mine. It also gives one the power to travel back and forth from the Rock of Eternity instantaneously. Do you wish to see it closely, Billy? Here, take it, but return it quickly. Without it on my arm, I would fade away into nothingness in 24 hours. It means life to me. But now there arises an ominous, mocking chuckle.
Billy, that evil chuckle. You sound like Sivana.
A startling revelation! I am Savannah! Shazam! He has a Billy mask!
I mean, why wouldn't he?
Of all my clever disguises, this has been the most cunning of all. It was the one way I could get the great Shazamium bracelet in my hand.
Oh, what have I done? Without that bracelet, I am powerless.
Exactly what I figured. I failed to stop the creation of Captain Marvel, but now I have you in my power, Shazam. I'll put on the bracelet. The amazing Shazamium bracelet gives Sivana the same ethereal form that Shazam has. My hand passes right through solid matter. This is better than being a ghost. And you're my prisoner, Shazam. Now off to the Rock of Eternity.
I am helpless to resist.
In the wink of an eye, through the power of the Shazamium bracelet, they are hurled beyond space and time to the Rock of Eternity, where Shazam has dwelled. From here, I will soon rule the universe! Shortly after, the real Billy Batson visits a secret tunnel.
Mr. Tawny told me the whole story of Savannah's visit to the past and his attempt to destroy me. I think Shazam himself may be in danger now. I'd better warn him. Now, as usual, I light the brazier to summon his spirit.
Billy Batson receives the shock of his life.
Holy moly! That's not the Egyptian wizard. It's Savannah.
Yes, my son. What can I do for you? Oh, all this laughing is gonna wreck my vocal cords.
Yeah. Captain Marvel will take care of you. Shazam!
Go ahead, change to that red ox. I'm not worried. Hum-de-dum. The magic lightning comes as usual. For as long as Shazam exists, the word will not fail Billy. Boom.
I'll grab you and, holy moly, it's like grabbing smoke.
Sure, I'm in ethereal form now, just like old Shazam. All your mighty strength can't harm one hair of my head, if I had any. And look, without the Shazamium bracelet, old Shazam will fade away into limbo in 24 hours. And with his passing, you too will vanish. In 24 hours, there won't be any more Captain Marvel.
Holy moly.
Savannah pronounces a dread doom for the world's mightiest mortal. Desperately, frantically, Captain Marvel again tries to seize his arch enemy. Look, you brainless boob! I can ooze through solid walls! Toodaloo!
I've got to get that bracelet. I can ooze through solid rock myself, in my own way.
So you want to play tag, eh?
Ooze all you want, but you won't shake me, Savannah. I can smash through anything you can ooze through.
Can you, fool? How about smashing into this place and letting a flood pour out? Well, come on!
Holy moly.
Water purifying pot, number 2.
I can't keep chasing Savannah and smashing down every wall he oozes through. I'd wreck the city.
You're licked, Captain Marvel. You can't harm me in this ethereal form. You can't take away my Shazamium bracelet and return it to Shazam. So in 24 hours, you will die. The world's mightiest mortal is in the most deadly trap of his great career. For once, he is faced with utter extinction, leaving Savannah free to carry out his sinister plots against civilization. Is there any hope for Captain Marvel? Turn to the next story in this issue. What do you think so far?
I mean, he's the best villain we've had so far.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
That's not even close.
Yeah. Okay, he's the only villain that they've put effort into. Like, I mean, obviously, all the fun comes from him.
So,
Well, no, the tiger.
so Captain Marvel was the subject of a lawsuit, copyright infringement, because he was seen as being a ripoff of Superman.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Not because Captain Marvel.
No. That's a longer story.
Okay.
But he had the bald mad scientist first.
Is Lex bald?
So wait, no, Superman.
Is Lex mad?
Superman fought an evil scientist named the Ultrahumanite who was bald. But that's it. But then the first time he fights Lex doesn't have hair. Lex has hair.
Okay.
Captain Marvel's like Sivana's bald from the start.
Yeah.
He's like a mad scientist. He's crazier than Lex.
Yeah.
Like clearly.
He's funny. I've never seen Lex Luthor be funny.
No.
Yeah.
So, but he does have the evil scientist who is bald thing going first. And I mean, as similar as he is to Superman, I don't think he is the same as Superman enough to warrant a lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It was a different time.
So they lost? Or they settled?
So the judge, whose name was, I'm not making this up, the name of the judge was Judge Learned Hand.
His first name was Learned and his last name was Hand?
Yes. Judge Learned Hand.
So he's Honorable Hand.
Yes. They decided that he is a ripoff of Superman, but that's because apparently when he's being created, the executives working at this company, Fawcett Comics, said to the creators, make us a Superman, like explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason. But at the same time, Fawcett didn't lose because apparently DC Comics, which was called National at the time, failed to renew their copyright on Superman. So there was nothing to infringe. And then it went into appeals. And then when it was getting into appeals, like sales on superhero comics were going down, Funny Animals were taking over. And Fawcett was just like, well, we'll just fold. It's not worth it anymore. Mm-hmm. Eventually, in like the 70s, DC flat out bought Captain Marvel, Shazam, etc., which is why, the Zachary Levi movie is a DC movie, etc., mm-hmm. and why he shows up in DC stuff. But he is originally not a DC character.
He's originally a
Fawcett, Fawcett character, and he outsold all of them. Outsold Superman, outsold Batman, outsold Captain America, outsold them all. He was the highest selling superhero in the highest selling era of superhero comics.
So, like, why though?
I think because he's fun as hell.
Yeah. I mean, he is. So, like, better writing then. Did Superman ever try to be fun like this? No.
I think so. Eventually, when he folded, the main writer of this, the guy's name was Otto Binder. He went to DC to start writing Superman. And that was when Superman suddenly had the Fortress of Solitude, the Superdog, Supergirl, the wacky plots by Lex, etc. So really, Superman became more fun the moment he became more like Marvel.
Right.
Funnily enough.
Yeah. So he did eventually, at some point, he was like, his stories were like this.
Yes, I think the difference is Superman is more steeped in sci-fi stuff because he's an alien and all, and he's more steeped in mythological,
right,
etc. stuff.
And biblical.
And biblical, apparently.
Not really.
I mean, I still think Solomon's inclusion in that pantheon is funny. Yeah. But yeah, this is when I first read this as a kid, this was my favorite story in the whole book. I don't know if that will be true after we're done with reading the book, but this was my favorite story in the whole book. I just think it's so much fun. I also think part of his success probably has to do with the fact that he's a child.
Yeah.
Right. So all of the kids reading are like, you know, they can fantasize about being Superman, but they can really fantasize about being Billy Batson.
Yeah.
And then turning into Captain Marvel.
No, it's clever. Also, it has a funny animal.
It does have a funny animal. And then he has two sidekicks, Mary Marvel, who is his twin sister, and Captain Marvel Jr., who is basically him but blue, who is Elvis's favorite superhero. And actually, if you take a look at Captain Marvel's cape,
Ah, I see.
Right.
Real. So that he said that, or people
he
noticed
said
it?
he said that Captain Marvel Jr. is his favorite superhero, and I think people just inferred that his style must be influenced by the Marvels. There's a there was a robbery in the 50s, in the mid 50s, called the Great Brinks robbery. It was a thing where everyone escaped, and the reason nobody could figure out who did any who the culprits were was because they wore Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. masks. They were that big.
Wow.
It was that big that he had spin-offs. Like Robin didn't have a comic.
Yeah.
So Batman wasn't big enough for Robin to have a comic.
So now he's called Shazam.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
He's not called Captain Marvel.
Yes. And the guy, the wise guy, is.
What do you mean the wise guy?
I mean, the old ethereal guy.
Shazam, the wizard.
He's also called Shazam.
Yeah.
They're both called Shazam now.
Yes. Why?
I don't know. I would have thought they would have changed his name.
Because so after they folded and before they got bought out by DC, Timely Comics, which was publishing Captain America and stuff, decided to change their name to Marvel Comics.
Why?
Because it's a funner name.
Wait. Repeat the sequence again?
So they folded in like 1954 or whatever.
Okay.
Around then.
Because
it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah, okay.
It's just financially not worth it. And then in like the 70s, DC gets Captain Marvel.
Sure.
Right. Actually, I think they only license and they only buy him in the 90s, but still, that's irrelevant. So in the middle, so Marvel is called Timely in the 40s. They're called Atlas in the 50s. But they're publishing comics from the very start. They're publishing comics called like Marvel Comics. They were not the publishing company was not named Marvel. Their comics were called Marvel. They had Marvel Mystery Comics, etc. Right?
So like everyone just used the word Marvel in those days.
Yes.
At the same time. Like no, there was no first.
He was supposed to be called Captain Thunder, but then somebody beat him to it. That character is no longer in contention. So Marvel decided to call itself Marvel Comics. And then when they realized that the trademark for Captain Marvel was gone, they created a new superhero in like 1967 called Captain Marvel, who eventually passed down the name to the character Brie Larson plays. But Marvel has been so successful in trademarking the name Captain Marvel forever that DC can never, ever, ever call him Captain Marvel on the cover of anything, on merchandise, on movie titles, nothing. They can never use the name Captain Marvel. They can use the name Captain Marvel inside the story itself. But as a branding thing, it just made no sense to call him Captain Marvel anymore.
Right.
And that's why he's not called Captain Marvel anymore.
Okay, but like if they changed his name to Shazam, why wouldn't they also change the guy's? Confusing, no?
Personally, I think they should just change his name to Captain Thunder.
Or something.
Yeah.
But no, Shazam it is.
But I think to me, it doesn't really make sense. It's like changing it's like changing Link's name to Zelda.
Yeah.
Because people think that people who don't play The Legend of Zelda think that Link is Zelda.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense to me. But I suppose they've done their homework.
I suppose.
We interrupt this video so that we can take a little break because what you just saw was a conversation between me and Minnie about the legalities of Captain Marvel and Shazam, using the name, the trademark. I was working off of memory. I'm not really the best person to be asking about this stuff because while it is comic book history, a lot of it is very technical and very legal. I will be posting links at the bottom of this video to more relevant articles and the hearing itself, basically the transcripts of the court case, so you can judge for yourself. Also, while we were doing this, it's been ingrained so much in my mind that for the last 10 or so years, DC has just been calling him Shazam, that I'd completely forgotten Mark Waid's excellent run on the character right now, where they are actually calling him the Captain. The title is still Shazam. Characters inside the book are calling him the Captain. Is it better than Captain Marvel? Is it Captain? Should they just use Captain Thunder? Also, I believe Captain Thunder is still under trademark to another company altogether. So maybe that's not even a solution. You decide. Back to our programming for parts 3 and 4 of Captain Marvel battles the plot against the universe. Captain Marvel battles the plot against the universe.
Oh my goodness, there's another one.
Part 3, the evil element. You're through. You'll die soon. Good riddance. You're doomed.
Holy moly, I'll go mad.
Captain Marvel has just heard the dread pronouncement from Savannah that in 24 hours both Captain Marvel and Shazam will cease to exist. Such is the grim situation in which the world's mightiest mortal finds himself, as he is forced to become Savannah's laboratory assistant and make use of the world's most evil element. Savannah makes a strange bargain with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, I can use you and your great powers. If you agree to help me in certain things, maybe I'll give this bracelet back to Shazam and let him live.
What? He's lying in his teeth. I know that. He wouldn't let Shazam live, and therefore me. But wait, by pretending to help Savannah, maybe I can yet find a way to defeat him. It's my only chance. I accept, Savannah.
Good! Now give me your hand and I'll whisk us both off to the Rock of Eternity! Only a split second later. Your first duty as my helper will be inside that castle of Shazam's, on the Rock of Eternity! Get off that throne, you old wretch. It's yours no longer.
Oh, great sir, if only I could save you from this humiliation. But Savannah has the whip hand.
Here, slave, paint in new words, Throne of Savannah, King of the Universe.
You mean I'm to help you conquer the universe? No, I won't do it, Savannah.
But Shazam himself whispers strange words in Captain Marvel's ear. Obey him, my son. Obey him in all things. So it is written, and so it shall come to pass. This is very biblical.
But, I don't understand, great sir. If I help Savannah, he'll win, for sure.
Do not doubt me, my son. There are things that pass all understanding among mortals.
Is Shazam's mind slipping under the threat of extinction? Well, I'll play along with Savannah for a while.
Thanks, slave.
But how are you going to make it come true? It's a tall order.
Bah, simple. Don't forget that this Rock of Eternity is the center of the universe. From here I can attack in any direction through space and time. But wait till you see my next step. For that we go back to my secret laboratory on Earth. Come along, slave. Back on Earth in his secret lab, Savannah reveals an amazing element of his own creation. I've named this Sivanium in my own honor. It is living metal.
Living metal? What do you mean?
It means
Wow.
it means that it can easily be fashioned into human shape, duplicating every organ, and then it will live. Thus, I can make duplicates of myself.
Holy moly. Duplicate Savannahs to overrun the universe.
Do you like how he had to label the body parts?
Oh, yeah, no. It's great.
Gizzard.
Toe.
Nerve. But of course, in my ethereal form, I can't handle solid objects myself. That's why I need your help. Now get to work and build me an army of Savannahs.
No, I won't.
But now Captain Marvel remembers the words of Shazam. Obey him, my son. Obey him in all things.
Shazam told me to carry out Savannah's orders. If I only understood why.
And to add to Captain Marvel's mental torment, seconds are slowly ticking by, bringing him closer and closer to the awful moment of extinction.
Only 18 more hours left for Shazam and me. If I'm going to help Savannah, I'd better work at top speed.
I mean, I gotta say, that will happen in 6 hours. I feel like you're going at a slow pace. The world's mightiest mortal is able to do the work of hundreds of men in fashioning the weird Savanium into human form.
This Savanium can be worked and welded like metal, in forming human shape.
Now put in the Savanium brains. My duplicates will be equal to me in thinking power. Those brains are exact duplicates of mine.
But will they really come alive?
Of course, idiot. Watch. Arise, Savannah number 1. Hello, Dr. Savannah and Captain Marvel.
Oh, holy moly! Savannah's exact twin, even to the dirty laugh.
Yes, and I also hate you, you big red cheese.
Hey! Why, you little rodent! I'll knock you clear into next Friday.
Stop. Clang. Stop. What good does that do you, Captain Marvel? Beating my duplicate won't help. It's me you have to defeat. And you can't touch me in my ethereal form. Now arise, all you Savannah duplicates. Now, all together, give Captain Marvel your fondest greetings. World's mightiest mistake. Nah. Red boob. Boo. Boo. Big red cheese. Pooh. Bah.
Oh my gosh! One Savannah was bad enough, but now there's a whole crowd of them. All right, so you've got duplicates. Now what are you gonna do with them?
Take them to the Rock of Eternity for a powwow war against the whole universe. As you know, the Rock of Eternity is the hub of the entire universe. These diagrams really get to you, huh? Including the past, the future, the atom, and more. My duplicates will be my generals and go out to conquer the whole works from A to Z. To macro world, to infinity, to past, to atom worlds.
To island universe?
To island universe. But I'll need more duplicates. Thousands, millions of them. You keep making them, slave. It's your only chance to win my goodwill and save Shazam from extinction. Now off to the Rock of Eternity. Hold hands and I'll waft you all there by means of the Shazamium bracelet. Alone, Captain Marvel is overcome by bitter hopelessness.
How can I stop it all? Will Savannah really conquer the entire universe? The worst of it all is that old Shazam commanded me to keep helping Savannah all the time. But if I keep on making more and more Savannah duplicates, he'll succeed for sure. And each duplicate is just as nasty as the original.
Hello, you big red cheese!
Wait, Savannah himself isn't here. He won't see this, so why not? I'm going to beat this duplicate to a pulp. It won't do any good, but it'll relieve my feelings. Take that!
Yow! Bam!
And that, and that, and that! Oh, if I could only do this to the real Savannah! I smashed him to bits. I only have to make another, but I sure feel better. Well, back to work. But I still think Shazam was wrong to tell me to help Savannah. Why don't I just walk away and wash my hands of it? No, I've got to stick around close to Savannah in the hope that somehow I can defeat him yet. But there are only 12 hours left before old Shazam vanishes into limbo without the Shazamium bracelet. 12 short hours, and up on the Rock of Eternity, Savannah is plotting the conquest of the universe.
And up on the Rock of Eternity, the conclave of duplicate Savannahs rapidly forges its plan of action. And that's how we'll subjugate the universe. I'll be crowned king of the universe. Too bad you won't see that, old Shazam. You'll be dead and gone in a few more hours. Ha! Within the grasp of the world's maddest scientist lies rule of the entire universe at last. With Shazam powerless and with Captain Marvel as his helper, how can Savannah lose? Is there any hope for civilization? The final story in this issue will give you the thrilling answer. All right, we're at the end.
Okay.
Captain Marvel battles a plot against the universe, part 4, the Marvelium Trap. Hail King Savannah, ruler of all the universe! Through his Savanium duplicates, Savannah now seems within reach of his goal of conquering the entire universe. And time runs shorter and shorter for Captain Marvel. The hour of doom approaches when both he and old Shazam will vanish into limbo. And try as he will, the world's mightiest mortal seems unable to find a way out of the deadly trap. What will be the outcome of this colossal struggle with the fate of all the universe at stake? Back on Earth, in Savannah's laboratory, Captain Marvel suddenly finds a ray of hope.
Wait, this living metal is named Savanium, but it can be used to make any other living form.
What do you think he's going to do?
Himself? No. Such as myself.
I gotta tell you, for somebody with the wisdom of Solomon, it took him a while to get there.
If Savannah can have duplicates, why can't I? I took an X-ray of my brain and made an exact duplicate out of Savanium. Hello, Captain Marvel. Hello yourself. Holy moly, this is just like looking into a mirror.
The world's mightiest mortal explains his clever plan.
My idea is this. You, the duplicate, will keep working here. Savannah won't know that I, the real Captain Marvel, am gone. Right. But what are you planning to do now? I've got to find some way to get that bracelet away from Savannah. There's only 8 hours left. I've got to save the Egyptian wizard, and myself, and the universe. Good luck!
It took him about 10 whole hours to get to that solution. This man has the wisdom of Solomon.
I mean, you never think you can make a duplicate of your brain.
A little later, Savannah's ethereal form suddenly returns from the Rock of Eternity. Just wanted to check up on you, Captain Marvel, in case you tried to skip.
I'm here, Savannah.
I guess you've given up all hope of defeating me, eh?
Just about, Savannah. I hate to admit it, but I think this time you'll win.
The duplicate Captain Marvel plays his part to the full, lulling all suspicion. Even Captain Marvel has given up hope. How can I lose? Now back to the Rock of Eternity to finish our plans to conquer the universe. Meanwhile, the real Captain Marvel has taken over a laboratory with a plan of his own.
Gentlemen, I need your laboratory for a few hours. This is life or death for the whole universe. And I must work alone. It'll be dangerous.
We'll take your word for it, Captain Marvel. The place is yours. Some scientists. The world's mightiest mortal begins the world's greatest scientific experiment, using first the titanic powers of an atom-smashing cyclotron.
I'm not using any shields or protection. A waste of time. If any of those scientists were here, they'd be killed on the spot.
I don't know. I feel like being able to create, exact duplicates of yourself is the world's greatest scientific experiment.
Now I need the full power and energy of this atomic pile. But I'm not making plutonium or neptunium, such as is used in atomic bombs. This mechanical brain machine will help me in my next step. I'll need a hyperbolic curve in the 4th neutronic stage, eh?
In a fantastically short time, Captain Marvel has created a new element.
I'll call this Marvelium. Scientists have created 4 new elements so far. Savannah made Savanium. The bracelet is made of This next element, and now, latest of all, is Marvelium, the heaviest and strongest element of all.
You get it? He can't say Shazam. Because then he'll turn back into Billy.
In fact, it's the world's mightiest element. There is no known force in the universe that can work it, except me. That's why I've called it Marvelium.
That was kind of narcissistic to me, Captain Marvel. In a short time, Captain Marvel builds a mysterious box out of the new element and then proceeds to test it with every force known to human science.
I'm convinced that nothing can penetrate that Marvelium shell. Absolutely nothing.
Zap! What does Captain Marvel plan to do with this amazing wonder element?
Now to station Wiz.
Wiz. The station's name is Wiz.
Now to station Wiz with it. How much time have I left? Only 1 hour. Holy moly. 1 hour to carry out my plan to save the universe. I'll leave this here at Station Wiz.
Only 1 hour remains, 1 hour in which Captain Marvel must defeat Savannah and save the universe. Not only that, but it means life itself to Captain Marvel. For if the Shazamium bracelet is not returned to Shazam, the wise wizard will vanish, and with him will vanish Captain Marvel. It is a grim race against time now.
Savannah is up on the Rock of Eternity. I've got to play my hand carefully and lure him back to Earth. But how? Wait, I know how. All I need are the proper disguise materials.
A few minutes later,
I've got the stuff. Now off to the Rock of Eternity.
by exceeding the speed of light according to the Einstein formula, Captain Marvel is flung out of space-time to the distant Rock of Eternity in the wink of an eye.
Savannah and his duplicates are still plotting. Good. I'll fly into a corner of the castle.
Captain Marvel, what are you doing here?
Oh, great sir, I'm sorry, but I think it was a mistake for me to help Savannah as you directed. Now I'm going to work against him. Shazam!
Magic lightning thunders down and returns Captain Marvel to the form of Billy Batson. Boom.
Savannah...
That's you.
Savannah disguised himself as me once. Now I'm disguising myself as him. We're about the same size.
Unnoticed, disguised Billy joins the multiple Savannahs in the conference room. Our plans are made. We are ready to start conquering the universe.
Heh heh heh. I hope my chuckle is as nasty as it should be. But now... Wait, Master. Don't you think you ought to visit your lab on Earth again right now? Maybe that big red cheese, Captain Marvel, is up to something desperate.
You're right. Won't hurt to check on him.
That fooled him. He'll return to Earth where I want him. Now, Shazam!
Hurry, my son. I grow weak. Only half an hour remains to me. Magic lightning again brings the world's mightiest man. Boom!
Back to Earth. By now, Savannah must have already reached the lab. This is all close timing. I've got to get to Station Wiz fast.
In Savannah's lab on Earth, Captain Marvel is still busily working. Then he didn't try any tricks at all. He gave up. And in 20 minutes, he and Shazam will disappear forever.
I'm licked, Savannah. Or am I?
That's you.
Hello, folks. This is Billy Batson, your boy newscaster.
What? Captain Marvel is in front of my eyes. How can Billy Batson be broadcasting? The two of them never exist together at the same time. Savannah gets the shock of his life.
We tricked you, Savannah. I'm only a duplicate Captain Marvel.
What's this all about? I'll fix that Billy Batson. I'll get him at Station Wiz. But what am I worrying about? Shazam and Captain Marvel will both vanish in 15 more minutes. And certainly you can't do anything to me, Billy Batson.
You're right, Savannah. There's no use in saying my word even, and changing Captain Marvel. I've already prepared a memorial to him. Want to see the inside, Savannah?
Why not? Have you got Captain Marvel's last will and testament in there? Empty! Is this supposed to be a trap? But you little fool, I can ooze through walls. Don't you remember?
Shazam!
Billy leaves the door open, a slight crack for the magic lightning to penetrate and change him once more to Captain Marvel. Idiot, trying to trap me. I'll just ooze through the wall and... Oop!
Not through that wall. It's made of Marvelium. Nothing can penetrate it.
Let me out! Help!
No use, Savannah. Now you can't whisk away on me like a ghost. You're trapped. I'll take that bracelet now. The bracelet, if you please.
No! No! Oh! Oh!
Without the bracelet, you're solid again. Oh boy, what a joy to feel your chin again.
Bop. That's a great panel.
Now to get this bracelet to the wizard. Holy moly! Only a few seconds left. I'll wear the bracelet myself. In ethereal form, I can whisk to the Rock of Eternity instantly.
Captain Marvel arrives at the very zero moment. Farewell, my son.
No, I've got the bracelet. Put it on, hurry!
My strength is back. All is well. We have won.
Yes, but whew, that was close. I wish you hadn't advised me to help Savannah first, sir. I would have defeated him sooner.
Shazam is saved. The wise old wizard reveals his supreme wisdom. No, my son, you would have lost. Think back. Only by helping Savannah did you use the Savanium and thus discover the way to make a duplicate of yourself, leaving you free to make Marvelium. Otherwise, opposing Savannah, you would have wasted your time in useless direct battle.
Forgive me, great sir. I should never have doubted you for a moment.
It was so written, and so it came to pass.
But wait, those duplicate Savannahs. I must destroy them.
Your duplicate also came and is taking care of that, my son.
Holy moly, my duplicate smashed all the Savannahs, and also himself. Well, that takes care of that.
Farewell, Captain Marvel.
The universe is safe again. Now to finish my job back on Earth by putting Savannah behind bars. Folks, this is issue number 100 of Captain Marvel Adventures. I want to thank all you readers for being such loyal fans through 100 issues. And we promise you many more exciting adventures and thrills in the next 100 issues. Right, great sir and Mr. Tawny?
Correct, my son. You said it, Captain Marvel.
Those are my sentiments too, folks. Be seeing you.
I'll be around again too. You can be sure of that. The end. Oh yeah, they're not the same person.
Who? Oh.
Billy and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I mean,
Like they're two separate personalities.
these are clearly actors.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Even that.
Yeah.
Isn't it great? Thoughts?
Thoughts? It's very efficient, right? Like getting a lot of details out there.
This is the longest story we've read.
It is really long, but like there's, so much happening. Like so much happening in one panel. It's like exposition, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it reminds me of like obviously that scene where Ship Savannah was telling Mr. Tawny his plans was very like classic villain. Well, his whole thing is like classic
villain,
classic
including the
villain.
diagrams.
Yeah.
I love the diagrams
No, the
so
diagrams
much.
are great. He's very comedic. I could see why a little boy would really enjoy it. Especially, the tiger, the famous talking
adorable.
tiger.
Yes.
It's like,
The tiger is adorable.
what? He's what? He's just good friends.
They're just good friends.
Yeah, and he has a journal
He's got a
where he
journal.
writes everything down.
He wears a tie.
Yeah. But he's not afraid to go naked if necessary.
I mean,
It's just that it's
He's
the
a tiger.
only thing
he's got to be civilized.
that identifies him as a talking tiger. Like you think about it, you see a tiger on the streets, you'll be scared. But you see a tiger in clothes on the streets, you might not be scared.
He'd be weirded out.
You'd be weirded out. But you'd be like, well, maybe he's not gonna attack me because he is in clothes.
What do you think of the cartooning style?
It's not my personal taste.
Really?
Yeah.
Prefer Ma Hunkle?
Yeah.
I can
But
see that.
why?
I feel like the Ma Hunkle style is more suited for comedy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is better than the Superman and Batman.
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
about Plastic Man?
I think that the comedy here isn't really from the illustration style. It's from the
From Savannah?
yeah, it's from Savannah for sure, but also like the choice of words and not the inherent shapes of things, but like the choice of what to put in,
Like the diagrams.
like the diagrams,
Diagrams are so good.
like the choice of what to label in the
The diagrams.
diagram.
Gizzard.
Yeah,
Nerve.
yeah.
Toe.
So I feel like the comedy here is like more verbal, But it's definitely good, like in terms of, laying out the story and moving it forward.
Yeah, I've always like thought the drawing style was fun because he's got two dots for eyes.
Yeah.
And then when he turns into Captain Marvel, all of a sudden he closes his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, look at all their eyes.
I like how his duplicate just killed himself.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Captain Marvel, so famous back then, so he actually spawned a crap load of imitators, and including this. So this is like, so for example, the original Captain Marvel, that's them from the 70s, a 70s TV show. That's the Captain Marvel Brie Larson plays. That's Marvel's original Captain Marvel. You know her? That is Monica from the Marvels.
Okay.
Thor, because he changes into he's usually a mortal who then hits his walking stick and then he changes into Thor. But and I'm sure you know Shazam.
Yeah.
And the Mighty Mightor.
I don't know that.
Also a Hanna-Barbera character, the Mighty Mightor. Somewhere in this picture, Ben 10 is. Somewhere in this picture. Oh yeah, there he is, Ben 10.
Okay.
But maybe most interesting to you is that woman.
Oh.
And that guy. Darna and Captain Barbell.
Okay. I guess so. Yeah.
Because they were created in 1948.
And this was
Captain Marvel shows up in 1940. And was the biggest superhero of that era. So when people talk about how Darna is a Wonder Woman ripoff, that is actually wrong. But she is riffed off of another character.
Yeah.
It just happens to be not Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I see that.
Captain Barbell is a very obvious, even by name.
I don't know Captain Barbell.
Captain Barbell, he's a very thin guy who lifts a magic barbell and then turns into Captain Barbell. But even by name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how big he is. Oh, and He-Man.
Yeah, I see He-Man now.
And therefore also She-Ra, who isn't here for some reason. But yes, that's how big he was.
Yeah, I actually never heard of him before the Zachary Levi movie came out.
Okay. So did you ever see the first Zachary Levi movie?
I watched it after meeting you because you said Captain Marvel or Shazam was like your favorite.
You never talked to me about it.
Okay.
I guess it didn't make an impression.
Not. I watched it after watching the second one, maybe.
Okay, the second one wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But so here's my question: based on what you saw, what we've read, would you watch a movie closer to that tone? With that kind of zaniness, the talking tiger?
Obviously, I would. But see, I do feel like a big problem of the movies is the casting for the young Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has zero charm.
I agree.
He's not likable.
It's not great, no.
Yeah. And I don't even remember what he looks like.
And I think even Zachary Levi overplayed. Like, he played him like an idiot.
Yeah.
Which is, in some modern incarnations of Captain Marvel, is how they play him.
Yeah.
Because he's
a kid.
He's a kid.
Yeah.
But in, as you can tell with the original version, he's much more competent than that. So.
Well, I didn't see him when he first became. He might have learned. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
No, like, so the way that they handle it is that Billy is not Captain Marvel. Right? He turns into Captain Marvel.
I see.
But like, they give each other Christmas gifts.
Oh.
Like, Billy will buy Captain Marvel a Christmas gift. And like, I can't wait to give this to Captain Marvel, Shazam,
It's so weird.
and then Cap will be.
So
like,
wait, does Billy have memories of what happens to his body while it's Captain Marvel?
yes.
Okay, so are they still in there?
So it's like, yeah, they're still in there.
Like watching.
Yeah, but they're not really the same
Weird.
guy.
That's weird. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess like if they could make it funny, then I'd be into it. But I do actually like the notion of like, a child in a superhero's body. So I
Well-
did like that part of the film.
Even if you read it that way, then as having the wisdom of Solomon, he shouldn't be an idiot.
That's true.
Although I'm not so sure how wise Solomon actually was, if his
Yeah.
whole solution to the baby thing was cutting it in half.
I mean, it wasn't really a solution.
Just saying.
No, no, no. His solution was putting the proposition out there.
That's true. So, we have read quite a few. Superman, Batman, Ma Hunkel.
I cannot keep ranking these.
Wait, Superman, Batman, Ma Hunkel, Plastic Man, and Captain Marvel. That's
Mhm,
5.
mhm.
Okay, I know that Batman is your very, very lowest.
Sure.
Followed probably by Superman.
Yeah.
So, what is your top 3? Is it still Ma Hunkel, Plastic Man, Captain Marvel?
I don't know.
Okay, fair. This was my favorite, so.
I know.
And I don't know, may remain my favorite. Although we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is we read 4 Captain Marvels as compared to,
It's a one story though.
yeah, but like how can I compare? Because if you just asked me to rate it based on the first, 4th, or 3rd.
Yeah.
4th or 3rd.
We read 2 Red Tornadoes because
Yeah.
it's one story.
Right. But I didn't necessarily fully enjoy the first 3rd as much as like, because it gets really balls to the wall when, he makes so many of himself. And it reminded me of, obviously you know what it reminded me of. Gravity Falls.
Yeah, with the Dippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna read this out loud because we've always read it, and then we'll wrap up. About Captain Marvel and C.C. Beck. Captain Marvel was a result first of an executive decision, and following on that, the fortuitous coming together of exceptional talents. The decision came when Fawcett Publications declared itself a relatively late entrant into the highly profitable comic book field. C.C. Beck, a cartoonist who had contributed gag panels to Fawcett's humor magazines, was brought together with writer Bill Parker. They came up with an orphan big city newsboy who could transform himself into a super being. Billy Batson was lured into an abandoned subway station by a mysterious figure, led past grotesque depictions of the 7 deadly enemies of man, actually the 7 deadly sins of medieval Catholic theology, and taken to an ancient enthroned magician who was somehow Egyptian. This sage gave Billy the magic word Shazam, based on the initials of a polyglot of biblical characters, Greek and Roman deities, and mythic heroes. Uttering this word, Billy would invoke a lightning bolt and convert himself into Captain Marvel, and incidentally, as if to domesticate the whole picture, the Captain was physically modeled on the actor Fred McMurray, and the Captain's arch-enemy Dr. Sivana on C.C. Beck's neighborhood pharmacist. Wow. Beck's graphic renderings were simple, uncluttered, cartoon-oriented, and appropriately humorous, and Captain Marvel was a huge success. He was soon appearing in a whole group of magazines and had spun off a Captain Marvel Jr., a Mary Marvel, and even a Marvel Bunny. Beck needed a whole room full of assistants to help out. The foremost of these was Pete Costanza, who worked directly with Beck and also supervised the other helpers. Meanwhile, in 1941, the feature had found its perfect author in the fanciful Otto Binder. Binder understood that the Captain Marvel stories were best treated as light-hearted children's fare, and knew that strong rationalizations and pseudo-scientific explanations of its magic events and magic powers were not only unnecessary, they might simply get in the way of the psychological truths the magic imparted. Binder's introduction of Duy Tano, a civilized, talking jungle tiger, was indicative. Billy befriends him, and he becomes a sports-jacketed American suburbanite, confirming for the features readers that the savage impulse can be domesticated with a sense of humor. Both Charles Clarence Beck and Otto Binder come from the American Midwest. Beck was born in Zumbrota, Minnesota in 1910. He studied at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts and the University of Minnesota, and was a humor illustrator for Fawcett by 1933. Binder was born a year after Beck in Bessemer, Michigan, and had been writing for pulp and short story magazines, and beginning in 1939 for comic books. The various Marvel family comic books continued with high success until 1953. National Comics had brought legal actions against Fawcett, claiming that the Captain infringed upon its Superman copyrights, and Fawcett finally decided that fighting the suit wasn't worth the money and the effort. Insiders insist, incidentally, that there were other, less successful superheroes that were closer to Superman in conception than was Captain Marvel. Our selection, Captain Marvel Battles the Plot Against the Universe, comes from 1949 and the 100th issue of Captain Marvel Adventures. Its title is perhaps the only awkward moment in this little masterpiece of breakneck whimsy, as Binder's plotting is rendered and embellished in Beck's and Costanza's drawings. The elements are, as usual, wonderfully preposterous: pseudoscience, traditional myth, space travel, time travel. All are invoked with no inhibition, and the feature pseudo-heaven, the Rock of Eternity, is prominently featured. If a new magic metal is needed to get the story started, let's have one: Shazamium. If another is needed to keep it going, let's have another: Sylvanium. If a third is required to resolve things, so be it: Marvelium. Most indicative of the tone of it all, the artists give us Captain Marvel's torture at the hands of Sivana in the splash panel to Part 3. He gets some ink on his red suit from a squirt gun, some itching powder, and torture of tortures, a swift kick in the behind. The story is sustained by an innocent, unapologetic fascination with its own willful fancy, and by our delight in following that fancy. Those things plus an absolute refusal to take itself seriously, and to bring it all off involves a balance of attitudes or story elements, of pictures, and balances within balances that are not nearly so easy to achieve and to sustain as they seem. Otto Binder died in 1974, but C.C. Beck has remained active. This is no longer true. This was written in 1989. And he illustrated the first few issues of a revived Captain Marvel comic book titled Shazam in the 1970s. Ironically, the comic book was published by National, the company that had put the Captain out of business 20 years earlier. All right. Let us know your comments, what your favorite part was, and we will see you next time.